animals, often insects, will have more than two eyes, right? So how does a gene like that, how do you duplicate, a feature in terms of your genes? Do you know how that works?
Okay, so now you're talking about like what we might describe as like gene modules that are used to produce an organ. So like if one compound eye is an organ, and then maybe you have like a simple eye, because most insects, like a bee, will have like three simple eyes and two compound eyes. So the simple eyes are like in a different kinds of visual organs. So then the question is, what genes do you have to turn on during development that make the compound eye, and then probably some subset or overlapping set of genes is used to make the simple eye. Yeah, there's a lot of research on this, and one of the messages of that research is that you can have a network of genes that are turned on early in development that get deployed at different times and in different tissues, and they can produce what you might think of as like a similar or related type of organ, like the compound eye versus the simple eye.
So it might depend on sort of where they are in the environment of their organism, whether these genes get turned on or off, and what kind of structure they form, what kind of eye they form. And I see. That's cool. And let's do a little bit on caterpillars. We talked all this about butterflies, but all the genes for creating a caterpillar is also in, they don't lose their genes or anything. They just express them differently throughout time. So are caterpillar eyes just a completely different thing? I'm assuming they're looking for different things. So like, do you study caterpillars as well? And just like, could you explain the pressures on caterpillars and then how you tell genes that are for caterpillars versus genes that are for butterflies, because they're kind of all in there mixed together, I assume, and but they're not all expressed all at once, and they're expressed at different times. So it just seems ridiculously complicated.
Yeah, we haven't ourselves looked at photoreceptor expression in caterpillars, but there are a few papers out there where they have. So the photoreceptor molecules, the opsins that we see expressed in the adults, those genes duplicate a lot between butterfly species. And then the question is, are they expressed or not? Because just because a gene duplicated doesn't mean it's necessarily expressed. It might be in the genome, but it may not be expressed in the eye, or it's expressed somewhere else. And so one of the most interesting papers on this topic was looking at your caterpillar of interest, the Biston betularia. The caterpillars actually are different colors against different substrates. So like if they're on a dark brown twig, they look kind of dark. If they're on a green twig, they look kind of green. And so some researchers were interested in trying to figure out, how are they able to what we call color match. And what they figured out was that some of the photoreceptor molecules, the opsins that are found in the adult eye, are actually expressed in the skin of the caterpillar, in the body of the caterpillar. And so they speculate that those photoreceptors the skin photoreceptors are allowing the caterpillar to detect the background that it's sitting on, and then developmentally change its color to match that background, which I think is a really sweet result. How it does that, we have no idea.
Okay.
But it's a pretty
No,
good
that's
starting point.
yeah, no, that's sweet that you have these, not they're not eyes, you just have the some small component of the eye kind of all over their body, or at least part of it. That's really interesting.